It was a kind of a leap, I think, for them to be like, here's how we're going to get him. We're going to throw a piece of lettuce off of our truck, and then he's going to follow us and try to track us down. I'm like, I don't know. He might have been like, note to self, I'll write down the license plate.
You're very resistant.
Tomorrow I'll do a little search on, look at that. That's interesting. They were like, he's going to follow us now. Lettuce. Do the lettuce thing.
Yeah, there you go.
And hey, they were right.
Yeah.
Hey, Internet. It's Paul. It's Matt, the Dork Lords. We're here talking about Watchmen, Season 1, Episode 5, Little Fear of Lightning. This is a Looking Glass origin story.
Sure.
With some other stuff thrown in as well.
Yes.
But primarily we get a look at Looking Glass.
Yeah.
Through the Looking Glass. We very engaging episode.
Yes.
I thought it was.
I enjoyed it.
Very fascinating. Little Fear of Lightning comes from Jules Verne. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, which, by the way, has a giant squid.
And also somebody named Nemo.
Nemo, when they're talking,
Yes.
later we see the support group for the attack of the squid.
Because they're all upset
like, "Are you friends with Nemo?"
they can't find him.
They're
They're looking all over the place.
They need a Nemo to
They're
save
trying to
New York.
find Nemo, and
This is going to turn back around to the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. They're going to bring it into the Watchmen. Oh my God. That was a terrible movie. But anyway, another graphic novel.
That's true. Yeah.
And there was Nemo right
That's
there.
right. There
He's
he
so
is.
close. He's tangentially related. The quote, Little Fear of Lightning, is, if there were no thunder, men would have little fear of lightning. Basically saying the lightning's what you should be afraid of. But it's when you hear this, it distracts you from the fact that there's a thing that's actually that. Like you're afraid of the thing that's actually not as dangerous as the dangerous thing.
Exactly. Ooh.
And so I feel like that is a parallel to the fact that, the dangerous thing back in 1985 was there's a nuclear war about to kill us all. And the thing that people got terrified about was this distraction, which was a giant squid. Obviously, it was dangerous to the people that were.
Right.
But
I think it's also possible too. You could make a parallel to trauma, when people having like post-traumatic stress disorder. So there's certain things that trigger their fear.
Looking Glass, for instance.
So if you think about the fact that there's lightning, but that thunder that happens as a result of it, can trigger you even more than the actual thing. So, I think it's also.
Oh, good point. Also, the fact that the thunder comes after. So much like PTSD, it's you're reliving the event.
Yeah, and
perhaps.
In fact, it's a longer event.
The reverberation.
Than even.
Okay, I like that. Yes, sir. You win the "What is this about?" prize. Check.
Apply that metaphor.
Looking Glass backstory: he is in New York in 1985. He is from Tulsa, however.
Yes.
He's got copies of the Watchtower, so we're guessing he's a
Jehovah's Witness. Yeah, apparently they're the only people who carry that.
And they're like, the end is nigh.
But I'm told by a Jehovah's Witness I know that the end is nigh. They're not, they're just looking for a regular apocalypse, not nuclear apocalypse.
I guess if you get saved right before annihilation, then you go to heaven.
Right, well, no. So only a few people go to heaven. Most of the people are going to live on a heaven on earth. Okay. So that's what they believe. And then anybody who's dead stays dead. They don't go to hell or anything. Hell is death, basically. Okay. So
what's the value? Let's say you're in the last minute. If you convert right in that moment, you don't go to hell. You just hang out on Earth.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So he's attempting to do that.
Yep.
And he picks this group of ruffians. I think that supposedly they're connected to the comic book in some way. They're the ones that killed the original Night Owl.
Right.
Gang.
Yeah.
But in this case, they're like, screw you, blah 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 blah. So there's this one woman who's like, hey, you look cool. Let's go to the Hall of Mirrors.
Sure.
Takes him to the Hall of Mirrors, seduces him. We know he's a virgin.
Yes.
He protests. She takes his clothes off though, and then is like turns the tables and is like, ha ha ha,
yep,
you suck,
yep,
and runs off with his clothes,
yep,
leaving him naked,
yep,
in a Hall of Mirrors.
Yes, and feeling just like, this is exactly what they told me I shouldn't do.
Exactly.
They should not. Sin leads to badness.
I like have a concrete example right now
Yes.
in this moment. And just in case that wasn't enough, as like a
Right.
personal thing, he
Yes.
also gets the "and everyone dies."
Yes.
Like my sin
Exactly.
here led
And also
to.
too, his eardrums pop or whatever happens.
Right. So what happens?
You know.
This is the moment that the squid drops, not in New Jersey where he is, but in New York.
Which is not far from
It's not far,
Hoboken.
but it's far enough.
Yes.
And we'll talk about this, but I think at least in his mind, he feels like maybe the Hall of Mirrors helped to block the psychic signal. That he survives, whereas the rest of this carnival dies.
Yeah, although I feel like viewing it again, there was another person I felt like I remember seeing who was just sort of like, wow, that was terrible.
Well, maybe they were in, the other Hall of Mirrors.
Yeah, or, just somebody who some people survived. I don't know.
They were actually on a roller coaster at the time. They're like,
Ah.
roller coaster save me. And he becomes roller coaster man.
There you go.
And he always has to have a roller coaster. So these psychic waves went out and killed everybody, millions of people.
Millions.
And those that didn't die still apparently got psychically harmed.
Yes.
So he would fall into that camp.
Yes.
We then we see him in modern day. His cover job is that he's one of these market consultants.
Yes, and it was obviously they chose that particular commercial that he was watching.
Yes.
It's like to give you a more an impression of what New York is like now,
Yeah.
which is quite striking.
People still aren't coming back.
Yeah.
Which, who can blame them?
Yeah.
And so this commercial, which is happening, dozens, 30 years later, whatever, is like, come on back to New York.
Yeah.
We're squid free.
Yeah.
They have the only squid now is with marinara sauce. You're like, oh, that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
And he basically says, that's not a good idea. No
Yeah.
one cares. No one wants to go back.
Well, they think that the people viewing the
oh, right. They're like, look at all these
commercial-
marks.
Yeah, they love it, and he tells them no.
Nope.
Nope.
No. Now, and, obviously we assume he's right in this moment, but also he's incredibly biased I
Yes.
think, in that moment, too.
Yes, yes.
He's speaking from his own experience.
Yes.
He will not probably be returning to New York,
No,
ever.
Probably not. Or maybe
Oh.
by the end of the season.
By the
I'm
end of the
just
season,
saying.
who
Who
knows?
knows?
So we find out that he also, our idea of like guy who walks around wearing tinfoil hats. He wears a tinfoil hat.
Yes.
And hence the mask is also, it's his own tinfoil hat. It's
Yes.
not just something that he uses like a Rorschach test, a la Rorschach. It's this protects me from the squid attacks.
Right.
I think he translated the idea of like being in the mirrors help me. If I have this thing on, it protects
Well,
me.
maybe it really did.
Yeah, no, right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just like, he's like,
Because
I'm gonna
apparently
protect
other people
myself.
do it too.
Yes, there are companies as a reaction to this thing that what they think is an interdimensional attack. They're like, hey, it's extra dimensional defense.
Yep.
Buy this. I forgot the name of it's
Reflectine,
a material,
I think?
Reflectine. Like something like that, and you can blah blah blah. He puts it on. He also has it underneath his baseball hat, so he can look normal if
Yes.
he needs to.
Yes.
But he's actually still got the tinfoil on. And a great comment that Lori Blake made. He comes into her office. We'll talk about that in a second. But her point was, I think you became a cop just so you could wear this reflecting all the time in public and not feel weird about it, which might be on the nose. We also see that he runs a support group for
Yes.
people suffering from PTSD as a result of the attack.
Yes.
He lies, but in a way to try to
Encourage.
people to feel hopeful.
Yes.
So he's like, yeah, I'm over it. You guys can be over it too. And you're like, oh, he's not over it.
No.
But, he's trying to do his best.
Right.
Well, this is where we see how the identities of our masked heroes really... We talked about this in previous episodes, how so many people seem to know who these people...
It's like...
he's known.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's possible that the senator who would have access to that information might just distribute that information to someone to see who they are.
That's very true. So he's been infiltrated by the cavalry. I've skipped over a bit where we meet his ex as well.
Well, that happens as a result of his interaction with Sister Knight.
Right. So here, we'll talk about that real fast because we were talking about his meeting with Blake. What inspires the meeting with Blake is that she's bugged his desk.
Yes.
And she overhears Sister Knight coming in and kind of say, hey, what about those pills? Is your ex finished analyzing the pills? That leads to him getting called in, like, what are these pills?
Yeah, that she's talking about, and that the thing I love about him is he knows all the rules and regulations. Like, that's her medical condition. I cannot talk about that legally.
He keeps talking about not raising his mask. But she just keeps pushing back at him, calling him mirror guy.
Yep.
He's like, you know very well.
You know what my name is, Looking Glass.
So they don't have the best relationship.
No,
but that's the interesting part to me is I'm surprised that he wouldn't have then walked out of that office and gone, hey, by the way, my desk is bugged.
Right. There's ways that he could have done that.
And he doesn't.
That's true.
He just keeps that a secret and lets the bugs linger.
Right.
So that days later, or I don't know if it's a day or whatever, but it's at least 24 hours.
Right.
He uses it to fit his needs.
Yes, he does.
So he goes to check on the pills. His ex has analyzed the pills. His ex is a veterinarian or a cloning person that works with dogs. I don't know if she's not a veterinarian. She's probably just a clone person that's using dogs.
I assume, yeah.
Okay. It's just her specialty is cloning pets. So she's creating exact duplicates of your pet. And there's a scene that's casually disturbing in there.
Yes.
And it's because it's just done so but then you're like, oh crap. So she's testing this little cute little dog, and she's like, all right, just you're a instinctive opinion. Does this dog look like that dog? And he looks at it, he's like, it's a little small.
Yeah.
So then she says, well, do you want him? He's like, what do you want?
What am I going to do?
What am I going to do with a dog? So she's like, all right, boop, incinerates the dog. So what's fascinating about that is that he obviously knows the procedure. I don't think it's a surprise to him that she incinerates the dog. So when she's asking for his evaluation, he knows that dog's life is in his hands.
He doesn't appear to be shocked by the events that occur.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's been to her office maybe a few times. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, that'd be a weird... Yeah, who knows?
But it's just so interesting that with that knowledge, he twice screws that dog over.
Yeah.
He could have just said, yeah, that's fine. What is it to him whether the dog's a little smaller or not? But he makes the value judgment. It's a little small. Then... all right, well, this dog is going to be killed right in this moment unless you take it. Nah. It just says something a little bit. He's very he's cold.
Yes.
He's emotionally distant, maybe.
I suppose. I mean, I just feel like, there's many examples of situations where the show uses, in the previous show, just throwing babies back into the water
the
or whatever,
full of fetuses.
And all these people are getting blown up left and right. So I feel like the show has a casual relationship with sympathy.
Yep, I agree. So we learn there. It seems like maybe his anxiety is what drove him away from the ex originally. She's like,
right.
Oh, you're wearing the hat again.
Yep.
I mean, she's obviously aware of his condition.
Sure.
We also see he routinely tests his preparedness.
Yes.
He's got this little alarm, a drill.
Little drill, yeah.
And then it doesn't go off, so he's having to break the damn thing, and he's on the phone, and they're like, what? You're testing it how often?
Yeah. Like, look, you don't tell me how often I'm going to test it. Just send me what I want.
And so they're like, we'll send it to you in a week. He's like,
nope.
That is not going to do.
We have to charge you more to send it. That's fine. Charge you whatever you send me. Just get it to me now.
So he gets the overnight. And you see the level to which he is minute by minute obsessed with the idea that this squid attack's going to happen again.
Yes.
His former wife does mention to him, like, hey, you pick weird people.
Yes.
Your choice in women is terrible.
Yes.
He's like, well, I chose you.
She was saying that, it lasted 7 years.
Yeah, and then he said 7 years of bad luck, which obviously is what you get for breaking a mirror.
That's right.
Or a looking glass. So the cavalry plants Paula Malcolmson.
Yes.
Sure. Woman from Deadwood. She basically plays off as like, look, I've got PTSD. I wasn't there. I just got PTSD from watching TV.
Right.
Oh, that's right, because she watched the Steven Spielberg.
Yes.
Steven Spielberg did instead of Schindler's List.
Presumably.
Very famous scene from Schindler's List where it's black and white and there's the girl in the little pink dress.
Right.
In this case, it's a black and white with a girl in a red dress walking through the remnants of the psychic attack of the squid, and it's called Pale Horse because Pale Horse was the rock group performing in New York that night. We actually see a Pale Horse poster in the New Jersey when he's in Hoboken. It's like, hey, perform tonight. So there was a little Easter egg there. But yeah, so that's interesting. So it inspired, I assume, Academy Award winning
yes.
flick.
Presumably.
Real departure for Steven Spielberg.
Presumably.
There. So that instead of Lincoln, he's going to do Ozymandias. The Manhattan Story.
There you go.
So she kisses him. They seem to be hitting it off very well. She smokes cigarettes, and he's like, tobacco, that's banned. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's a controlled substance.
Yes.
And she drives off, but not before this little piece of lettuce falls off the truck.
Yes.
And he immediately puts it together with, that's the truck with the lettuce.
He calls back up.
Which turns out to be, he gets trapped into this. But it is interesting. They're like, they really relied on his vigilance in that moment. Like, they are already driven off. Like, he could easily have been like, bye, turn around, never see lettuce.
He had to turn around and not hear the fact that the lettuce falls onto the street.
I'm just thinking, like, or even the fact that he might not. I mean, there's probably multiple lettuce trucks. I don't know. Like, a truck with lettuce in it isn't necessarily like, that's it. That's the one. It's an agricultural society. There's a lot of farms down there. I don't know.
Right, but then,
I'm just saying, it was a kind of a leap, I think, for them to be like, here's how we're going to get him. We're going to throw a piece of lettuce off of our truck, and then he's going to follow us and try to track us down. I'm like, I don't know. He might have been like, note to self, I'll write down the license plate.
You're very resistant.
Tomorrow, I'll do a little search on, look at that. That's interesting. They were like, he's going to follow us now. Lettuce. Do the lettuce thing.
Yeah, there you go.
And hey, they were right.
Yeah. Lettuce from a truck.
Lettuce from a truck. I'm just saying.
I mean, I feel like
I could imagine a scenario where he just
in the first episode, I always thought it was weird having like, I'll just carry this truck full of lettuce.
All right, fair enough. But we see the lettuce is hiding electronics and such.
Like, how often would you be doing it at night?
Well, if you're traveling a long route with your lettuce
through the city.
I don't know.
Wouldn't you be on like highways and shit?
I'll put it this: I grew up. I was. I spent many years in Kansas.
Okay.
All right, and I traveled up and down like a two-lane highway. That's really just an annoying two-lane road. And there were guys with agricultural products and/or tractors on there all the time, at all times of day. And you were like, you're driving at 20 miles an hour, going, I just want to. Can I go around the lettuce guy? Anyway. So it doesn't seem that surprising to me, but perhaps
it's the same make too. They should have that info as well.
I get it. I'm not saying it's impossible that he made that follow. I'm just thinking if I'm trying to I'm the cavalry and I'm thinking I want to make sure this guy follows me.
Yeah.
I think I would have done something more than I'll just throw some lettuce off the truck as I drive away.
Maybe you don't want him to be thinking this is really a big thing. It's like just small. Like, let me just follow them to see.
They are more subtle than me, and hence they're better at what they do.
Yeah.
So they totally hook him in. He makes a call to the cops, but he's not talking to the cops. They boosted his signal, and he's actually talking to the cavalry the whole time.
Yeah, haha.
So they had him the whole way in. He goes into their I don't know what you want to call it. He finds the church where they gave their video from.
Right.
Which is in the middle of this complex.
Yeah, so not a church.
Not a church.
Because one of the things they were saying is everybody go around to look at churches to see which one. So they were
look
taking
at the thousands
pictures
of
churches to see, does this match? Does this match?
And they were never going to find this.
No, never.
It's like in a warehouse.
Right.
So the other thing in the warehouse is they've got a teleportation machine.
Yeah.
And that was like a big,
Yes.
like, what? Oh,
Yes.
they're throwing a basketball or something through it. And
Yep.
it's like, blink, blink, blink.
Yep.
He gets caught, inevitably. He then shoots. He pulls a gun. He finds a gun, and then he uses it. But they've thought of that, too, so they gave him blanks. So he's like,
right, yeah, because he found their truck, and he
took
found the gun that was in there. But nope.
Nope. That was their little
You would have
test to
better
see-
off at taking the lettuce out of there and throwing that at them.
Exactly.
They will do this in 3D.
So yes. Oh, they throw the lettuce and it goes through a teleporter to the other side of the screen.
There you go.
He finds out that one of the Rorschach guys, 7th Cavalry, is indeed the senator.
Right.
Surprise, surprise. We knew this all along.
I was leaving options open for it not to be.
Okay. All right.
In my head, I was like, well, we'll see.
I will say it is interesting, too, that,
But he was like, no, it's it.
I was like, no, that's it. But how, during the date with Paula,
Yes.
that's not her character name, but he prides himself on being
Trixie.
able to read the truth. Yeah, and she's like, "Oh yeah, well I used to be." And she tests him by
Yes.
her occupation.
Yes.
And she finally says, like, "I'm a radiologist."
Right.
And he's like, "That's what you are."
Right.
But it's funny that she's lying to him the whole time.
Well, she's
And-
leaving out facts.
Yeah, and he's like, "I'm good at this. This
Yes,
is I
that's
can
right.
read people." And you just led me right into a trap. Thanks.
Yep.
Thanks for proving that I suck at my job.
Yep.
No, but so he is given, as they put it, a squid pro quo,
That's right. He puts it that way.
which is, hey, you help us out by keeping Angela off our backs for a couple of days. All we need is a couple of days to our secret plan comes through.
I think he only offered him, we won't kill her.
We won't kill her, and I'll show you this,
and his family.
this DVD.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Although he's going to show him the DVD anyway,
Right.
but yes, that was the idea.
Well, he gave him a choice.
Yeah.
You can watch this or not. It was
Correct.
very red pill, blue pill.
Yeah. It's not much of a choice really in terms of from Looking Glass's perspective. Hey, if you don't agree, we're just going to kill her and her family.
Yes.
Okay, I guess I'll do the thing that keeps them from
Yeah.
being killed
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
So it's, while he betrays her, he kind of doesn't. I mean,
Well,
I don't know. He could, I guess, gone back to the cops and been like, hey, we got to do this thing.
Right.
But it still would mean that the cavalry would attack.
right. Yeah. One thing he posted, sort of like, oh, who's going to believe you with your tinfoil in your head? I mean, he's an important person there.
Yeah, it's true. Oh, as opposed to the guy with the giant panda head?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Much more credible. Yeah, anyway. So the video is Ozymandias back in 85
Right.
talking to future President Redford,
Yes.
basically saying, hey, I set this all up.
Right.
And by the way, the extra-dimensional attacks, not real.
Nope.
I did it all so
Yep.
that we'd have a better America, and you're part of that.
Better world.
Yeah, good point. Better world, and you're part of that, so great, good on you. My thought in this moment, I'm just like, I'm Mr. like, no, I don't think that would work. But I feel like given the decades of obsession and PTSD that our good friend Looking Glass Wade has suffered, I think it would take more than a simple DVD to change his mind. That's all.
Well, it's a long DVD.
It is a long one. We don't see the whole thing where Ozymandias says, now sit back for a few hours of something. Or
And
whatever.
two, I think it still supports his basic thing is there's a secret going on that, is causing this thing to happen.
He did actually, what's
So-
interesting is, in the support group, when he's still fully committed to the idea that this good thing happened,
Yes.
he actually gives the reason why it happened. He's like, look, it actually was a good thing. All these sides were about to attack
Yep,
each other. We
yep,
would all be
right,
ash.
right.
But this squid attack brought us together. So he actually
Yes.
empathizes with the reasoning
Yes,
behind it
right.
as it comes
Exactly.
to it. Yeah. And I suppose at the very end when
So that's his theory, and
Yeah.
it turns out it's true.
it's true. And we do see that bit which I do like, when he throws away the alarm system and then walks back
Yes.
and grabs it.
Yes.
So he's not fully.
No.
There's still a part of him that's like,
Yes.
maybe I'm being fed a line here, and so he's. But
Well, I mean, to me, one thing I wasn't, since I didn't read the comic books it's based on, is it's not just a squid coming out. It's a psychic wave that affects people.
and then a series of follow-up squids. It's not just one event. These events keep happening.
Right, but I mean, he probably believed that the psychic event probably is associated with the squids when it's not, probably, or maybe just squids that big make it. I don't know. But, he still should have reason to probably be concerned about, like, we don't know what the 7th Cavalry is planning, but they might plan a similar physical event that's followed also by a large, psychic ray of some sort.
Ah, all right. Yes, yes.
So we don't know that, and neither does he, if all his precautions are not really valid.
Yes, good point. He'll find out in real terms.
Yes.
So, given the non-choice choice, he talks to Sister Night in front of the bug.
Yeah.
Knowing the bug is there,
Yes.
she doesn't know it's there, and he basically gets her to talk about how, did she say that her grandfather killed? She thinks her grandfather killed Judd?
No. What she says is, my grandfather says that he did it. He's over 100 years old.
And he couldn't have done it.
So
Yeah.
I hid it, or I covered it up.
Yeah, the cover up. That's a bad one.
It's interesting that she, it wasn't important for her to mention the fact that, her grandfather is now with Lady True.
Yeah.
It wasn't important to mention that. It was, but it was funny though, because what precipitated it was like, is anything true?
Yeah,
he was
anything
he
true?
Just doubts everything now.
Yep.
Um,
Right. He thought he could trust her. I think of hey, this is a fellow, masked hero.
Right.
I've let her into the bunker. She's but yeah.
Well, but yeah, because he was like doubted the senator when the senator said that Judd had they were in some weird sort of control of the two groups.
Yeah. So that's an interesting point. We know the senator is leading the cavalry. He's given a little charmer version of it. It was like, look, they'd be much worse if it wasn't for me. Maybe that's true, maybe that isn't, but still, they've done some pretty horrible things, and he's the head of their group. Also, then he says that Judd was doing similar work for the cops, so that he was they were basically leading two different groups and trying to keep peace.
Yes.
That way.
Yes.
And so he wants to know, or he wants, I guess, whoever killed Judd to be, brought in or proven so that the cavalry isn't blamed for it, or I'm not sure his reasoning for wanting the...
Well, it just does seem like he still wants peace, right? So he doesn't want people to be doing random acts, even though, presumably the act that started the thing was not planned. It was because he didn't want to be discovered, right? And the 7th Cavalry person who killed the cop.
Oh, sure, at the very beginning.
Yeah, maybe he wanted to...
that broke the peace. And that also brought... Because if you remember in the moment, Judd didn't call in the masked... He didn't call in Sister Night and stuff. She kind of found out about it, did work on her own.
Right. He said, he was going to say, everybody go out, and then she just went ahead and did it, so she found someone.
Yeah.
So, presumably that's still what the senator wants, except we don't know the exact, what they're trying to do with this device.
Yeah.
So, perhaps it's part of a plot to make, I don't know, to, I guess, keep everybody in their station and still not really go to war, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, okay, so we'll talk future theories about the future here in just a second. At the very end, after Looking Glass throws away the safety alarm, then takes it back out of the trash, we see 4 cavalry members with guns racing for his house.
Did we really describe her getting caught, though?
No, I'm going to come back. I was just trying to finish this off.
I see.
Finish off the Looking Glass angle here.
Okay.
So the implication being they're going to try to kill him in his house.
I assume.
Which also means that the deal that he had with Keene was not really much of a deal.
Yeah. Unless he just can't control those guys, but it seems more likely that.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you did what I needed. You got Angela out of the way,
Yeah.
so now I kill you too.
Right.
I don't think he's going to die, though.
No, I don't think so either.
I think he's, first of all, he's still paranoid.
Not for a couple of episodes at
He's
least.
got a bunker.
Yes.
He's, I don't know. I think those guys will be in trouble. When Sister Night gets caught, she's got the pills. She's been told what it is. It's nostalgia.
Yes.
Nostalgia is a drug that's made by Lady True's organization, that gives you your happy memories or memories of your choice.
Right.
So that's actually important, of your choice.
Yeah, you're right.
And so, in fact, in the Peteypedia, they've got like a little the medication chart for it, and it includes all the warning signs and all that kind of stuff. One of the things it says is, don't share it.
Yes.
Don't give it to a friend. These are your memories,
Yes.
and if it'd be psychotic episodes,
Yes.
phantasmagorical nature.
Yes.
So she takes them all.
Yep.
She just takes the pills.
Yep.
Which I think, probably not take them all at once, but I think maybe was the intent when Will left the pills. I'm assuming Will has created specific memories he'd like to share with her in these pill form.
Oh, okay.
And that that was his way of like connecting to her.
Sure.
In a way that she'd believe.
Right.
Instead of just him saying, no, hey, look, I had reasons for doing what I do.
Right,
He
right,
can
right.
put her into it. You can experience the emotions of it.
Yes.
But she's now taking them all at once,
Yes.
so it's going to be, and we see in the next trailer for the next episode, that's what this is going to be.
Yeah.
She's going to be experiencing key moments of his past.
Yes.
And that's where that leaves off for that. Now, obviously, there's still Ozymandias. The Ozymandias
Yes.
subplot
Yes.
takes focus.
He's successful.
He's successful. And he's back. No. So he catapults himself out. We see that it is indeed a protective dome that is on a moon. It's been confirmed by Lindelof that this is the Europa, one of the moons of Jupiter. So he's on a moon of Jupiter.
Yes.
And when he comes out with his tether and his improvised spacesuit, of course, he's got all those bodies of all the clones that he's put out. We see why he's been throwing all those bodies out there, because he turns them into a rescue me sign. It says "Save me," and then we see a letter D.
Yeah.
And it cuts off, and he's showing it for a satellite that's coming around the moon. So maybe it's "Save me, Doctor," Dr. Manhattan, something like that, perhaps. But that's his plan. Then he gets, in his moment of triumph, he gets pulled back by the tether through the dome, and we see that the game warden, who looks like the Phillips. He's got a mustache and a mask, but otherwise he look. If I had to guess, I think he's one of the clones. But he's very upset. God has left us. God is no longer, and I assume they're talking about their version of God would be Dr. Manhattan. And he says, "I'm going to show you no mercy," and he kicks Ozymandias. So Ozymandias is in a little bit of trouble at the moment.
Yes.
But he has sent out a rescue me sign.
Presumably.
I'm going to guess that is to Dr. Manhattan.
Okay.
And I guess that's all the stuff present-wise. Anything else you want to talk about from the episode itself as opposed to looking ahead? So, okay. So for Ozymandias' looking ahead, we're at episode 5. I feel like he will come back. He's gonna get off of Europa by the end of this season.
Yeah.
Why is he there, and how does he get off? I guess.
Right.
I'm thinking. I mean, man, he's so far out.
Yes.
They do have this teleportation thing. I don't know what the range on that is.
Right.
That seems awfully far. I think it's maybe more likely that Ozymandias decides, I'm going to go take either a sabbatical, or I want to make my own little paradise. Maybe he even makes a deal with Manhattan. He's like, Dr. Manhattan, look, I get it. I'm kind of bad for humanity. You probably don't like me. But hey, we stopped the World War. I'll leave if you can make me my idyllic place off on a moon somewhere, like you did with Mars. Put me out somewhere else.
Right.
And so then he sells the company to Lady True, and he goes off to his paradise. that Dr. Manhattan set for him. But somehow, either he's regretted the decision, or Lady True has maybe somehow turned the tables on him a little bit. Because they are clones, and I think the cloning is coming from her side of things.
Right. I mean, he was, to me, he seemed like a fairly reclusive person before, so it might be difficult to believe that it's him getting tired of the agent.
Yeah.
But maybe he's just tired of that sort of interaction.
So I feel like, good point. I feel like for whatever reason he wants to leave this place that he is now not really capable of leaving.
Yes.
And the only individual that can get him off of there is Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah.
And so by sending this message out, giving his wishes out to the universe, I think he's hoping that Dr. Manhattan will just go, all right, fine, I get it, and I'll help you out. And
Maybe.
I think
We'll
that's
see.
the idea.
That could be.
Meanwhile, back in Tulsa, we've got the situation where Lady True has a plan that's coming to fruition in about 2 days now.
Yes.
And the cavalry has a plan that's coming to fruition in about 2 days.
Yes.
That seems awfully coincidental.
Sure.
So either it's the same plan and they're in cahoots, or the cavalry's plan, they realize what Lady True's doing and they're trying to do something to counteract what she's doing. Any thoughts on what this might be?
No.
I mean, if it's going to play into the notion of this 1985 squid attack, the squid attack was a violent act that was meant to save lives from a more violent attack.
Yeah.
Do you feel like maybe that gets played out again, where maybe Lady True is going to have some violent act, and the cavalry is almost in a position of, like Rorschach or something, where they're going to be like, I don't know.
One thing that occurs to me, I just remembered that they did set up a sort of transition thing. In the previous episode, the senator was pleased to report to Lori that other cities are thinking of taking up the
good point.
The
mask.
The mask, right, which I don't know if it's his intention to sort of spur that on, to make other cities feel like they need to do that, in which case maybe those are the sort of actions that would make people, maybe more white knights maybe, across the cities or something, that would make the cops feel more besieged.
Or maybe this teleporter they're using, because it's going to involve something with this teleportation screen. Maybe that's a way they can get into, like, for instance, I don't know, jump into the White House, kill Robert Redford or something.
Interesting.
And leave. There's like they can get into a really secure facility.
Sure,
do some terrible crime.
Interesting.
And then get out.
Wow.
Perhaps.
Wow.
I just threw that out there.
I
Actually,
know.
I just thought of that in this moment. So there you go. If that
the,
happens, I would.
The show is making you deadden to the sympathy of
that's right.
the
just
people.
Throw puppies into an incinerator. Whatever. It's fine. So if you've got theories on
let them rip
what these two plans are and how they converge in the next couple of days.
3 plans.
Are there 3 plans?
I don't know. How's Ozymandias going to get back to...
How does that even work? Maybe that's in connection with one of the plans.
Yeah, or not.
Yeah. Let us know. There's more we could talk about, but that's pretty good. Yes. We've watched The Watchmen. And we will be back talking about Mr. Robot and The Mandalorian and all good things.
Sure, all good things.
Bye, everybody.